Meeting to order. Please stand and join us for the invocation, led by Dr. Barfield, followed by the pledge, led by Mrs. Prowan.
Dear God, we are gathered here at this meeting tonight, and Lord, I just ask that you be with us as we make decisions that will impact our district. Lord, I ask that you are with each and every faculty and staff member and student this last week of school. Lord, as students get ready to go into the summer, and Lord, we know that some of them, the only safety and love that they feel are when they are with us. So Lord, we just ask you to provide them a safe and happy summer. Lord, we ask you tonight to bless each one in attendance, especially, Lord, we ask that you are with our beloved Jackie, who will not be with us after tonight's meeting. And Lord, just lay your hand on her and for safety in her ride, and just let her know how much she is very much loved. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we'll begin with item 2.1, approval of minutes from the regular board meeting on May 9th, 2024 at 9 a.m.
Motion to approve.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Motion by Ms. Clement, second by Ms. Prowan. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And we're gonna move a little slow to make sure we're doing some training over here, so.
It's gonna be our truck people next.
All right. All right, the next section on our agenda is item 3.1, recognition of Moorhaven Middle High School track students who went to state finals. How you guys can just come on in.
Can y'all run so we can see how fast you can?
Welcome, welcome. We're so glad to have you with us tonight.
Is your coach here? Is the coach?
He's signing.
Oh, I didn't see him.
All right,
He's
Coach
getting so
Nate.
skinny, he's hiding behind that pole. Okay, so will you introduce everybody, Coach?
And you can come up here behind the mic, please.
They didn't tell y'all this, Coach Kelly?
No, the thing about it is, I don't normally do this type of stuff. I leave this for them because everybody always sees me do stuff. So the important stuff like this, I want the ladies to get the recognition. So I don't cause last year I didn't come because I didn't want it to be about me. But half of the kids couldn't come. We had one kid a few of them get ready to graduate. So one getting his hair done, one's going, he has a meeting with a recruiter, and the other two, they probably, from the football game yesterday, they probably beat up a little bit. And she went to the game, so they probably sober. But right now we have Kabors. Kabors, stand up, please. He was a part of the 4x1 relay team and the 4x4 relay team. And he could have made it to state for a long jump, but we had technical difficulties with him getting his mark, but that's perfectly fine. He got next year to do that. Next, we have Akila Ling. This is her second year in this situation. She made it for the 100, the 200, and the 4x1. And she got medals in two events, the 100 meter and the 200 meter. Next, we have Brian Alfonso. Brian Alfonso made it in the 4x4 relay. And in the 400 meters, he's on the team. He's the third fastest that we got. And the night of the 4x4, he ran a PR of like 3 seconds. He ran a 51 seconds, so that's 1 lap. He ran in 51 seconds. And next we have his brother, JJ Alfonso. He was alternate on the 4x4. He was going to run, but we had a couple kids that was hurt, and he was one of them. And being that he's young, I look forward to him making it again. So I made the executive decision for him not to run because we already had one kid during the state hurt his leg. I didn't want to come home with 2 injured kids on my head that got hurt. Sorry about that. That's probably somebody. But this is everybody that we had to make it. We have other kids: Daquan Adderley, AJ Askew, Archelius Acevedo. We have King Lennon. They all made it as well, and it was a long road. It was a long season, but it went by really, really fast. When we got to the end, it was like, man, we pretty much hit it. That's crazy, and we didn't get much sleep. Especially when we went out there. But other than that, man, I'm proud of the kids. We had a good time. We enjoyed ourselves, and they worked hard for this. They worked hard for it, and I'm proud of them. And I'm trying. Allergies in the building, so I'm trying not to. Because out of all the coaches, I'm probably the most emotional. So I'm trying not to do that. So I'm gonna cut this short. Other than that, I thank y'all for being here, and thank y'all for allowing the kids to be able to, be represented by Moorhaven. I know it means a lot to them. It means a lot to me, and I just thank y'all as a board, as a community, as a family. I just thank y'all, and I can't say it enough. Thank
So
y'all.
I just want to say something really quick before Coach Nate sits down, because we're going to get a photo. But for many, many years, and I graduated in 1990. Back then, track has always been, we have a tradition of winning and kids. And it seemed like several years ago, I don't know how many years, and Coach, it seemed like we went from being the top of the top to just, we really weren't as competitive as we were. Not that our kids didn't try, but it just seemed like something happened. And I want to say that Coach Kanedra, Coach Nate, came into the picture, and really what I saw, and Coach Nate, you can correct me, but what I saw was coaches that were out there with you all, and you all became a family, and you all started doing things together. And I'd see his silly, crazy Facebook messages, and he was out there trying to run, and Coach K was trying to run with you all. And then I started seeing the wind start going back up. And I know that the community did rally behind you all. And I know that next year, I know we're expecting big things from all of you. Akila, I know you're going to be working this summer because your daddy got me at the football game and told me that he would be having you at the track. So, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was
All
gonna
right.
say, she looks a little shocked.
Yeah, no, her dad is going to make sure that she's there and running the track this summer. So I just want to thank you all for representing your community, because I know that a lot of times, especially the distance runners, you don't get a lot of, accolades, and they always want the sprinters, but those longevity runners, congratulations to you all. And so congratulations to you as a team. Oh, and look who just walked in.
We got King Lennon.
As you can.
He made it in shot put. He placed 3rd in the state. I'm glad he was able to make it. He was getting his hair done.
I got 2 things I'd like to say.
Yes.
First of all, Coach Nate, how many schools out there do you think didn't even have one person in the state?
It was a lot.
Majority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking about all these kids, at least 10 of them?
Yeah.
10 kids went to state, and there are the majority of schools in this state didn't have any. I mean, that's amazing. And also another amazing thing that I saw is, I don't know if you know, but I drove the bus to the regionals, and because we didn't have a driver, and I was very happy to do that. Well, I don't know, I was very happy. I did district and regionals, that's right. But what you don't realize is one of the reasons that these kids do so well is because of Coach Nate and Coach Kanedra.
when I picked up these kids, I'm waiting. Well, Coach Nate comes in and says, "Man, this is a record. I had to go pick up 7 kids this morning." That's what he does.
Yeah.
And you know, I had to be there at 6 in the morning, but Coach Nate was out at 5 in the morning, going around all these different houses, picking up kids to make sure they could come to the bus. And then I was telling him, man, you know, it was. We got back from regional at 2:30 in the morning, or 2:45. You know, and I said, Coach Nate, man, I still got a 45-minute drive back home. He said, I still got to take some kids back to LaBelle, so I'm not getting home for a while either. So, I mean, not only are these kids doing a great job, but you got some amazing coaches too.
And then I want to say one more thing, because you just made me think of something. And sorry, guys, I know you guys are probably wondering, but when the situation happened in Belglade or Pahokee, I got a phone call from another county, and they said, "Oh, y'all's kids got in a fight," and it was not within minutes that Coach Nate called and said, "Dr. Barfield, it's not our kids." And he explained the situation. Our kids did the right thing. And you know what? That's something that starts at the top. That starts with Coach Nate. And I know, Coach, that you're uncomfortable, and I know you're over there and you're emotional about this. But these kids love you, and we love you, and we're blessed to have you. Jackie, pass the handkerchief. There you go. So I want to get a picture. I want to get a picture with you guys and tell you how much we appreciate you. If the board would come and get the picture with us with them.
I want Coach Nate to tell us about his exploits when he ran track for Moraine High School.
Yeah, we probably don't want to know those.
No, we had a good time. Yes, you
It's okay.
One thing we gonna do, we're gonna have a good time.
That's good.
But, all right.
All right, everybody look the same? All right, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, looking good.
Now, if y'all want me to tell y'all about my track days.
I gotta give it to the track parents. My son cannot run. He just joined the track in like 8th grade, little skinny boy. And he ran the mile, and it was the last thing. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. These track meets are long.
They are long. I spent many years out there timing, running that timer clock.
Congratulations, everybody, and thank you.
Thank you.
For working so hard.
I want to congratulations. Thank you for everything you do. Yeah. I did want to say this, Nate. I want to say this because I've never been a runner, but I'm a lover, not a runner. But one time my daughter was in the national championship for 15K. It was Gate River Run, and it was a 15K. And she was about 8 years old, and because she loved running when she was little. And so I went to register her, and when I got there, the lady said, I need your information. I said, oh, I'm not running. And she said, oh, well, if you don't run, then if you don't participate, she can't participate because she's too young. And I said, ma'am, I'm out of breath walking from my car. And she said, well, I'm sorry, she's not going to be able to participate. My daughter's crying, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So I went and I got these big earphones. All the other runners had really, little cute little things. I had these big 1970 iPhones. I bought a pair of tennis shoes because I didn't own a pair of walking shoes. And, I walked the race. There was 15,000 runners in the race. There was 15,000. There was the last two. There was a lady that was in a wheelchair, and then there was me. And I am proud to say that I thought that because the last mile of the race, you go, it's a downhill, you go over the Gate River. And I thought, well, I was gonna help this woman up the bridge, and then maybe on the way home, the way down, she might let me ride on the back of it. She took off. So I was last, but you know what? I finished, but I will never again in my life ever do anything like that. But I am so envious of anyone that can run, and the heat, and I would always drive my car by the field after, and they'd be out there running, I'd blow the horn and I'd wave. That was my participation. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you all for coming. We really appreciate getting to acknowledge your success, and we are all super proud of you. And it makes me feel really old when the coach and the parents are the ones that I know and that I taught, and I'm just so proud of all of you. So thank you for coming. All right, anybody else have anything? Or can we-
No, congratulations.
Thank y'all. Y'all can go. You don't have to stay. Y'all can go. I know you don't want to stay. You can leave that baby.
All right.
Also pointed out that you were a runner on your Secret Santa.
That's right. That was a hint.
Nobody would have gotten it.
Okay, so we're gonna move to, that is so awesome. This makes me feel so good. We're gonna move to an information item number 4.1, Amerisco Letter of Intent, Project Renew America's Schools Grant Project. And so we'd like to ask this gentleman to come forward and tell us what this is about.
Hi there. Thanks for having me. This is I'm Sam with Amoresco. We're an energy services company. So what we do is one of the things we specialize in is helping school districts that are underserved. We bring funding to them through grants and other opportunities to help them improve their energy efficiency, lower their spend on electricity, so they can have more dollars for education and teacher. Sorry about that. There we go. As we speak about running, I was a runner as well in 1992 for North Fort Myers High School. I was not nearly as fast as these kids tonight. So don't look me up. I was slow. I was with Alice. Go back. So I'll just run through this. What this is this is a opportunity from the Department of Energy. It's a grant opportunity called Renew America's Schools. Skip through the slides about it. Last year, we helped 4 schools receive this grant, and this year we're hoping to have Hendry and Glades County work together. We have a minimum of 10 school facilities we have to put together on an application. Hendry is already on board with it, so I just need a blessing from you guys, and I'll go through what that looks like. Here's a couple of the facilities we worked with last year. We brought the grant to Green Up Schools in Kentucky. They had 3 buildings. We were able to do almost $16 million worth of grant-funded infrastructure upgrades for them. Patchwork Learning in Indiana, we did 2 buildings there. We got $20 million worth of grant funding for them. And Miami-Dade, a little closer to home here, they're in the process of doing a multi-year guaranteed energy savings project there. $8.2 million for the schools that we're touching in that district as well. And Shenandoah in Virginia, 12 buildings, $7 million worth of grant funds with that one as well. So as an example, what this would look like for your district, the grant this year is a little different than how they rolled it out last year, where they capped the prize money. They do have a requirement for the number of schools. They allow us to combine school districts together. So the grant applicant would be Hendry, Glades, and Amoresco as a consortium. For your district, the energy project size would be capped at $1.9 million. The funding from the Department of Energy would be $1.5 million, and the maximum cost share would be $355,000. So for $355,000, you would get basically $2 million worth of project work. The reason we say maximum cost share is because there's some ways that we can utilize other tax credits, like the investment tax credit and things like that, for certain types of energy efficiency upgrades to offset that cost share for you. So the other thing that we can do is utilize the energy savings to fund that cost share as well over time. So it's not something that you guys would have to come out of pocket with right away. Okay, so some of the example projects that we could do, solar plus charging stations for electric buses, LED lighting retrofits. All of your schools have old fluorescent lighting in right now, which is very energy inefficient. HVAC replacements and upgrades and building automation control upgrades. So we're looking at Moorhaven Middle High School. We're also looking at West Glades. Both of those schools have areas where they're not operating to their maximum efficiency.
What is that last one, building automation?
So it's basically, it's controls that can control things like when the lights turn on and off. Like for example, in the middle high school, the hallways, there's no way to turn the lights on and off in the hallways. So they just stay on. There's not even light switches.
At the new high school?
Yes. So, and then at the middle school, or I'm sorry, Moorhaven, or West Glade School, there's just standard thermostats. So, like, you know, they're doing as good as they can to try and program the thermostats and have the air conditioning turn on while the building's occupied and turn off when the building's unoccupied. But as batteries die in those thermostats, the clocks get off and things don't get set correctly, and so you're using a lot of energy you don't necessarily need to. So a building automation system basically takes all that stuff and allows you to program it on a computer and then have the occupancy of the building track with when people are actually
Thank you.
So this basically just talks about what I already said, the consortia of LEAs and an ESCO, which would be us. They are prioritizing schools with improved funding needs. So they look at schools that are rural, high free and reduced lunch, Title I, Justice 40, all the things that you guys kind of meet the criteria for, and can show a need for, you don't have a lot of funding for doing these big infrastructure upgrades. The goals for this year compared to last year, maintain some continuity from previous funding, minimize administrative burden, encourage partnerships, leverage funds, and impact more local LEAs and school facilities. So this is just kind of a rundown of the numbers that I talked about here. It's a phased project where they award $300,000 at the beginning, $500,000 to do energy audits on phase 2, and then $7 million in phase 3 to actually do the energy efficiency upgrades. And I can email you a copy of the slideshow so you don't have to remember everything. And then this is the scoring criteria for the grant. Talks about community benefits are a portion of it, the need for planning and energy assessments is a portion, composition of the team and capability and experience, that's what we bring. Implementation plan for phase 2, again, we bring that as well, and then impact and replicability. And then these are the responsibilities of the different parties. So you can see Amoresco does the majority of work here. The school would work with us to provide some resumes and things like that from your team and information about the actual buildings themselves. So what we're asking for tonight is basically, like you see attached to the agenda is a letter of intent. That letter of intent, basically, all it does is protect us if we were to get the grant awarded to the district. It would protect us from you guys taking that grant money and going to another organization and doing the project. So this just says if we bring the grant dollars, you would work with us to implement these projects, these energy efficiency projects. If we don't bring you any award money, there's no penalty and you don't owe us any money.
So I'm noticed in one of the attachments I looked at earlier, it looked like it was the same document you had used with Hendry. You know, I saw Hendry County on a couple
Okay.
things,
I'm
so,
sorry.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
I've sent a couple copies and
Okay.
maybe I sent the wrong one, so
Okay.
I can amend that for you.
Okay, thank you. So before we sign it, we need to make sure it's got the
Absolutely.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that
Yeah,
sounds
it's-
awesome. Does anybody have any questions?
Sounds good to me. Mr. Boyles, you're the one that presented this. Do you have any comments to make?
Well, keeping the family theme going, Sam has invested, a good considerable amount of time already in Glades County. And when we talked about this last year, at the time, the grant was different and they modified it, like you said. Now we're looking at 10 schools total. That's the reason that I did talk with Hendry County, and that's the reason we've reached out to them as well, so that we can come together, get 10 schools and get our hands on this money that could help us. The hallway, for example, that Sam's talking about is Spirit Hallway at the high school. Those lights stay on all the time. So what we're looking at is like just a sensor that just sees someone, it comes on automatically. No one's there, it goes off. You would be I don't know, Sam, you probably did a cost analysis, but just that hallway alone, you're probably looking at saving $200 to $300 potentially a month, just in that hallway. Because there's, in each of those receptacles, there's 4 individual lights, and I think those are 60 watts each. So there's a lot of light being put out of just that area alone, and there's no one there. So these things would automate our district, allow us to have these things to automatically cut off for us. LED lights are one of the biggest cost savings, right?
Yeah, so LED lighting not only does use a fraction of the electricity, but the operations and maintenance is also greatly reduced because it doesn't have things like ballast that need to be changed all the time, and the fluorescent lights, as they get old, they start flickering and dying, and it puts a burden on maintenance staff as well. So those are other opportunities to save beyond the electricity savings as well.
And we've talked numerous times about the air conditioning systems out at West Glades. We just replaced another unit, that was $8,000. So when Sam's talking about recouping some of these costs, those investments that we're making now can be used to offset the initial investment that we'll have to show later down the road. And I think we've got a total of 65 air conditioning units at West Glades. Just, that's an enormous amount.
The units at West Glades also are at their end of life, and they also use an antiquated refrigerant that's being phased out. It's very, very expensive to buy. We've actually kind of skipped over an iteration of refrigerant. Now you're on the 3rd iteration, so any new equipment is going to be, you skip kind of the middle one. So there's a lot of need there. So hopefully we can bring some funding dollars to you and get this infrastructure upgrade.
And I'm assuming you've looked at our utility bills?
I have.
They're crazy.
They are, and those are
They're one
dollars
of our
that
largest expenses is our energy bill every
typically
month.
for a district, it's number 2 behind the personnel.
Yeah.
So that's something
Huge.
that we wanna shift those dollars from energy company to personnel and student education and things like that. We've got better things to do.
Agreed.
Have you looked at like the energy bill for like can you pinpoint it down to particular buildings? Because one thing that I was looking at is like what we pay the city for that is, and at some point, and I don't know who made this comment, or I wouldn't have been able to just make this reasoning, but they said that these portables are pulling like double what the elementary school is. Is that true?
Yeah, so I haven't seen that granular of a breakdown, I just kind of have an overall. But typically those portables are very inefficient, and it's a number of factors. They don't have a lot of insulation on them. The type of equipment that they use an equipment that just kind of mounts on the back of it, and it's not nearly as efficient as using the centralized chiller that's already on site there. So it's a number of factors. So those are things that we can kind of optimize the efficiency. One of the biggest ways to do that is just turn the air conditioning up when nobody's in the portable. And we see a lot of times that it just doesn't happen. It just stays set at So all night, all weekend, when nobody's in there, you're still using that electricity.
And I know we've been in the auditorium and we've all wondered why it's so cold in there. Well, the reason it's cold is because the unit's not working efficiently. There's some systems that are, I guess, calibrated incorrectly. So that's the reason it stays at that temperature, because there's fear that if it's not at that temperature, that mold will form. So it's sort of, we're running counterproductive in the auditorium of what it should be as far as a system. This hopefully will be able to resolve some of that with some of these dollars.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Because you gotta think it's running all the time as well.
Yes.
So you needed 10 schools, and you
Yes.
have your 8 schools, or
We've got 8 through Henry, yeah.
you have 8 in Henry, so if you were to get West Glades and Moorhaven, you would have your 10.
Yeah, and Mr. Busen, he's gonna be talking to the school board in the next few weeks about the arrangement that we're wanting to hopefully go in, because we can't do it alone.
Right.
You know, it's I would be remiss not to also mention that, you know, Henry County did loan us 2 buses because we're in a situation where we had to have them. So they are a partner, even though they're a different school, we can work together on common efforts and common causes, and this energy efficiency would be a great way.
Yeah.
I think
love
it
that.
sounds awesome.
I do too. I swear, when we built that new high school, we had this whole company hired to make that building so efficient.
Yeah, and that's a fair comment.
Schneider probably, or they're one of the.
It was
Yeah,
a
and that's-
turn, I think.
That's a fair comment, and we see a lot of times the building when it's brand new is fairly efficient. One of the things that we see over time though is, you know, sensors go bad, you know, timers get off and things like that, and it's things that just constantly need to be kept up with. And through no fault of maintenance staff, it's just stuff that's, you know, probably an outside partner has to come in and just verify that things are still working the way that they were designed to, and sometimes the design can be modified to make things more efficient as well, so that's one
Well,
of the
and
things that we just specialize in.
It's not that new, but it is new.
Yeah,
So
it's
every
new
new
compared
thing-
to
right,
lots of facilities in
right,
the area,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
So we just need to make sure, and this is a side note, Mr. Gressitt, we need to make sure our new school has LED lights and
and,
all these facilities.
yeah, we're happy to
computerized.
work with you as a partner on that as well.
Okay, great.
To help you guys through the design process to kind of make sure that you're
Yeah.
gonna have an efficient design
Right.
and put a roadmap in place to be able to maintain and keep that efficiency once the building's built.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any questions? All right, thank you so much, we appreciate
Yeah,
it.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Boyles. So that item does not need any action, is that correct? It's just,
The letter of intent would be really the only thing, we've got June 13th as the deadline to apply for this grant, and I know we're kind of getting very, very close to that, so we've got some legwork to do, we just would like to be protected for the amount of hours that we put in
right.
through that letter of intent, and I can get a revised copy of it.
Okay, so do we want a motion then to, approve the letter of intent with needed typographical corrections?
Move to approve the, signing the letter of intent for the Renew America Schools Grant Project.
Second.
Here we have a motion by Ms. Prolot, a second by Ms. Allen. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. All right, Mr. Gressitt, you're up. Item 5.1, update on new elementary school.
I did get one small but big update today. I talked to our architect and our builder, and as of now, we're about between 50 and 75% into looking at the costs for the new school. We're in the design development stage right now, and both of them are telling us we are at or below what our budget would be. So really,
That's
we're
good.
looking really good. We're keeping well within our budget.
Good.
So,
Good.
so we are right now.
Any news on the permit?
Nothing new yet. No, I'll probably let you know well before a board meeting when.
Okay. Thank you.
We are
Appreciate it.
anxiously awaiting.
And we still have that same time period blocked off for the
Yes,
grand
ma'am.
opening,
Yes, ma'am.
but we don't have an exact date
Groundbreaking.
yet. Groundbreaking, yeah. Getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna be doing is I'll be sending board members an email here in probably the next day or two,
Okay.
asking you if there's, any ideas that any, congressmen and senators, whoever, community members, I was thinking, all constitutional officers, and, we need to kind of get our list, start getting our list together because, from my conversations with Culpepper and Wiseman, we will send out formal invitations, and then there will also be a public invitation as well. But, as we get closer, we'll start planning, because I'm sure there'll be a dinner or a luncheon or something. So I just need to hear from you if there's someone. I know we definitely want to make sure we invite, Haley and as well as Senator Grawl. And so I'm sure there's other people that you can think of throughout this process that have gotten us to where we need to be. As you know, I'm kind of holding out on the date because I'm wanting, we're hoping that the governor will accept our invitation. And I'm in conversation with his office, so we're just trying to see if we can, fingers crossed, get a confirmed date.
We have a tentative August 6th.
Yes, ma'am.
I've added that to your calendars.
And so Jackie, we knew we could still count on you. from
Awesome.
afar.
Carla's watching.
All right, we're gonna move to item 6.1, approve proposed amendments to the agenda. I believe we did have two, so we'll need a motion to approve those amendments.
So moved.
Second.
Now, a motion by Ms. Allen, second by Ms. Prowant. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. So now we'll move to the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda that any board members would like to pull?
I have none.
You do?
I have none.
Oh, none? Okay, like I said. Okay. Ms. Clinton? Okay, awesome. So we're looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Prowant, second by Ms. Allen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we'll move to the two amended agenda items. Item 9.1, approval of job description and position of assessment coordinator / CTE coordinator beginning July 1, 2024. Dr. Barfield, would you like to address that?
Yes, ma'am. Just in restructuring, it's something that we definitely need. With the amount of testing that goes on in the high school, middle high school, it's a year long. They're testing year long. If they're not testing current, they're doing retakes and ACT, SAT. And so this position would be over all testing and all CT, getting all that, because there's a lot more than just having the programs. It's also making sure that there is continuity in the classes, making sure all the classes are in the proper sequence. Thank you, I appreciate that. To make sure that we're getting full credit for them. So there's a lot to do with it. So this person would be it would be a teacher on assignment. And it would not be an administrative position, but it would be a position that would be a lot of work, but it's much needed.
And is that gonna be paid for out of the Perkins grant?
I believe that is correct.
And this person would do all of like the FAST testing and the SAT and ACT administration, every assessment that's given at the high school.
Yes, ma'am. And that person would also make sure that if the student has accommodations, that they're given proper accommodations. So it's a very big role. It's one that most districts have. I mean, we were just small and we try to juggle and wear a lot of different hats, but it's something that just needs it. We need it.
Who would be their supervisor?
I'm the principal.
Principal.
So is it a district, I'm sorry, Kim, I just remembered the question I have. Is it a district-wide position? Are they gonna, how could they cover every single school in the
It
district?
would be specifically the high school, is kind of how we set it up.
Okay.
But, I mean,
So if we approve this
mhm,
and we hire someone for this, a teacher on assignment, it's gonna be built in the budget for next year, so we're not gonna create a budget deficit or anything. We're gonna have to, I have a question about it being paid for by the Perkins grant. I know the Perkins grant fits perfectly with the CTE coordinator position, but can the Perkins also
I think,
cover the testing for the FAST and SAT, ACT, and those other assessments?
I know it can do half, I'm not sure.
Okay, so,
Correct.
so we would need to make sure when we're completing our budget that we're allowing at least probably half of this salary out of our regular instructional personnel. I see our finance director back there nodding her head, so thank you, Dawn. So I know the high school is where this focus is, primarily because that's where the career and technical education programs are, and there is a lot of testing at the high school. If we approve this position, are we going to have the other two schools coming to us and asking to also have a testing assessment coordinator? Because they're gonna argue that they have probably just as many tests per se, progress monitoring, FAST and so forth, that the high school does. So that's just something I'm thinking, if this is a halftime CTE and a halftime assessment, I can see the elementary school in West Glades coming to us and saying we need at least a halftime assessment coordinator.
But they also at the high school level, middle high school, they also do all the end of course testing, which
True.
they don't do that at the other schools. I'm not saying the testing at middle and the elementary school or at West Glades would be extensive, because it is. But I think it's more extensive at a high school where you have more tests. You know, if you could have a student that would have to take a biology end of course, civics end of course, ELA, math, geometry. I mean, there's more. And if you've got a guidance counselor and she's doing testing, then she's also, majority of her time, she is not doing guidance, she's doing testing.
And I agree, I'm not
Right, no,
arguing against the position, I just want to throw everything out there for consideration. And what our answer's gonna be when they come
Right.
and say, well, they have an assessment coordinator, why don't we? Cause
And-
that's probably gonna happen.
And also when we had this position before, and it's kind of like the career counselor position that we funded out of that grant in the past. They did serve West Glades. It was a district position because West Glades has those end of course tests that you were just mentioning. They have CTE, yes, no,
But-
at this time, but it would be great if they did have some CTE at West Glades. That would be awesome. So, I mean,
They don't have the majority. I mean, they don't have the numbers that Moorhaven, they don't have the biology, they don't have
yeah, they have civics, they have,
They have algebra one.
Yeah,
and do they have
algebra one.
geometry or not?
oh, y'all, I'm sitting here, I've got the list right here. So they have, okay, West Glades has geometry, algebra 1, and civics. Moorhaven Middle High School has US History, Algebra 1, Geometry, Civics, Biology, Science, regular science, which West Glades has regular science also. But you also have your seniors that are retaking to make sure that they've got the test for graduation. I mean,
But there's
I
not,
definitely can see that what Ms. Prowan is saying is that there's a possibility that why aren't we? I just think that it's a needed position,
I don't know why the person, and I'd have to go back and look at the job description though, couldn't serve as a liaison to West Glades with their testing. If they don't actually do it, but they could be a contact person to help. And if they had the availability or whatever, that might alleviate them from asking us for testing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
If this
think
person
ahead.
covered them too.
I'm not opposed to this position. I think it's probably a needed position. I think at some time in the past, we actually had a testing coordinator at the high school. It's been a while. So I'm not opposed to the position. I just think we need to be ready and think through what our response would be. You know,
I think if it's a district position, then it's something that which might be the way to go, is to do a district position instead of at the school, and then they could do that, and then that covers, I think that would probably be best.
and they could be based at the high school,
Ma'am.
but be available.
Teacher on assignment then.
No, it would still be a teacher on assignment.
And that's how it was structured in the past. They were stationed at the high school, but they traveled to West Glades periodically to
And
give support.
I think that works for me. I mean, I don't want it to not.
Did the job description, it didn't say.
I don't
high
think it's,
It
no.
doesn't specifically say high school.
And we put CTE because we're not large enough yet to have a full-time CTE, someone that just does CTE. Now, as we grow and we hopefully, have our CTE programs to build, hopefully that's something that maybe in, a couple of years we might need to come to the board and ask for that.
Yeah. And I would hope whoever this is would look into some middle school CTE courses, because there are some available that we could be utilizing for extra funds. All right, so do we have any more discussion on that? Do we have a motion?
No, you didn't do the motion.
Yeah, do we have a motion?
I thought we had a motion.
We did, and I asked Dr. Barfield to explain it.
I'll have a motion, excuse me, I'll have a motion. Yeah, I'll have a motion. I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Motion by Ms. Allen, second by Ms. Prolant. Do we have any more discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 9.2, approval of Ferrara Consultants and Space Aid Group proposal dated April 24, 2024 for moving of awning. I believe this was submitted by Mr. Boyles. Mr. Boyles, would you like to explain your plan here?
Anticipation of the installation of the charging stations that will be placed behind the district office here in the parking lot of the elementary school. We're gonna have to remove that awning anyways, it's gonna have to go. We do have, let me say this, the discussions came up to repurpose the awnings at West Glades. Some of the awning can be repurposed here at the district office. The proposal that I'm putting forth is that we're gonna have to take it down at the beginning. So there's gonna be initial cost of that. The only additional cost would be taking that awning and putting it up here beside the board building. It would cover the board member entrance and the superintendent's entrance, and also the double doors here that lead to the storage area. That would be taking it down and then putting it up here. Now, your question may be, well, what benefit would that do for the district office? When we're talking about, as you see the sun beaming in now through the windows, the energy that is being able that's used in the building would be drastically reduced by those awnings protecting the doorways of that metal doorways heating up. Now, Dr. Barfield's door has experienced several issues with warping and the seals and around the door has been leaking, and we've repaired those. So in essence, that's what I'm asking for, is us to take this awning, the large awning that's on the parking lot here, and repurpose it here, is what I'm asking for.
So this amount includes the repurposing?
Yes, it includes insurance that the contractor has to have. This is a company that we've done business with. They are actually the one that repaired the roof at Moorhaven Elementary. And an update on that roofing is that the second grade hallway hasn't experienced any leaking since then. We do have a couple areas on the fifth grade that has had leaks, but as the heat of that roof increases, the temperature increases, the sealant of that roof becomes better. So this is a company that we've done business with, and they would be doing this removal and installation of the awning.
So what did you mention about Westglades? Was there
Well,
somebody?
we're hopefully gonna repurpose the remaining awnings that are at the elementary school at Westlands. Yes, so we would need to have the awning taken down and obviously put up out there. If you notice, Westglades does not have a covered area for parent-student entrance or drop-off, if you wanna call it that. There's no cover area, so the students are dropped off in the rain. We're hoping to get that awning repurposed out there, repainted and so on.
And that's an additional awning you're talking about?
Yes, it would be additional to this cost, yeah.
Okay.
This is only
But
just,
down the road, we're thinking about
Yeah.
repurposing the awnings
yes.
that are at the elementary out at Westglades.
Yeah, because we do have, there are certain things on, that we don't want to scrap, obviously. And that's one of them, because awnings are very expensive. Now, we would obviously get a quote from a company, what a new awning versus taking this awning down would cost us, and look at that cost projection. But these are aluminum, so they're gonna last a long time.
That's true what you say about Westglades. They move everybody to the office area when it rains,
Yeah.
and it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it works,
Yeah.
but it would be better, nicer, if they didn't have to do that.
And we have, there's a lot of awning on this campus next door, yeah.
It's good.
And also with my door, because of the heat, my key does not work sometimes because it expands. So the entire, you can't get in. It will not work. And,
Ours don't work either. Maybe that's the reason.
Yeah.
no, I changed the lock.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
No, but I mean, it does. And that if you're in my office, it's that door is hot. So, anyway,
Well, I mean, if we're gonna tear it down anyway, I'm glad to see things reused.
absolutely.
And
That's right up your alley.
This will be paid for out of capital
Capital
outlay.
Mhm.
I move to approve the moving of the awning and repurposing of the awning.
I've got a question.
Yes,
So the vendor, it says their address, are they local or is that just their company address that they use?
they are local. This company is originally out of Tallahassee. There's 3 projects that they worked on in Clewiston, and the company has since moved here. They may work with Wiseman and them on the construction of some other things, but they are very familiar with Garland. I know Grant came before the board and talked to you about Garland and how they're helping us with warranties and so forth, the roofing. So, yeah.
I just wanna make sure we weren't hiring somebody from Tallahassee.
No, they're
to
actually
hire-
local, yeah,
move the-
yeah.
Good eye, Kim. All right, we have a motion by Ms. Provant, a second by Ms. Allen. Any more discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good idea. All right, we'll move to general public comments. Do we have any? All right, I won't read this long list of instructions. All right, we'll move to the superintendent's report, item 11.
Alrighty, so just a couple of things that I wanted to bring before you. I know that in our budget workshop, we discussed grades, school grades, and I provided you all with the list of where we are as far as the school grades, and we are continuing to test. We're still testing. We're doing makeups. We will make our at least 98% testing in at least at every school, hopefully. But our scores look amazing. We are definitely on a upwards swing, and I know that I will be anxious when the grades come out to celebrate these scores. And I just want to ask if any board members have any questions about the scores, because I mean you already have the scores. Did you want to talk about them, or did you have anything specific that you needed to ask?
Well, I know that day, the West Glades Algebra 1 score, I don't think was up to date. So,
And I don't have it, after
Okay.
that, I do not have an update.
okay.
Anyone else on that?
I don't have a question, I just wanna say how excited I am. It looks like everything is like up, and that's a good thing. Nobody went down. Some didn't go up as much as we wanted them to, some went up way more than I thought they would, so I'm excited about test scores.
The
Can't
second,
wait to see the school grades, sorry.
this end of the, tonight's
We can't get it.
Yeah, we can't get
It's a
together.
full moon, I don't know what to tell everybody.
Today, as you all are aware, we had our interviews for the accreditation process. And, we will not know for 6 weeks if we are officially accredited. But, by all unofficial, looks like we definitely will be, accredited. And, the accreditation team that came in and did the accreditation review had really great things to say about our district. And so I'm excited to see the final report. So I want to thank the community members, the teachers, the staff that came in and participated in that. And we got a lot of feedback, and that was great. The only thing I have now is something that I'm sure that she knew was coming, so I'm gonna embarrass her a little bit. So as you know, tonight is Jackie's last board meeting. She is retiring. She is worked very hard her entire life to get to where she's at, and she is now going to get to go to the land of casinos. And her mom is number one, but she is moving to Las Vegas. And I just want to say a couple things about her because, as you know, Jackie has been in my life for since about 15 years. And we were placed together in a situation that I don't know that either one of us were quite ready for, at a school that they said could not be turned around. And but they had never met Jackie and I, and we went in there like a wrecking ball and turned around and ended up with a school that made amazing gains. But for those of you that don't know, Jackie, people think that Jackie is this, mean. They just see this rough exterior, but what a lot of people don't know about Jackie is that she has one of the biggest hearts of anybody. And she would give her last dime to anyone. She is actually, she's very, very intelligent. And our district here in Glades, when I ran for superintendent 4 years ago, and I knew that there was an opening in the secretary's position, there was no one else that I would have called prior to Jackie Smith. And her work ethic is comparable to none. She is always here. She looks after, if you've ever had someone that is a protector over you, you know what I'm talking about. Jackie is that person. She always made sure that I was on time, which that's a feat on its own. That I was organized, that I had everything I needed. She is always ready to, any wild thing, I'm the ideas, she would always make it work. The only thing she doesn't do is she doesn't like to do any type of writing. So it's kind of like an inside joke because I was always the writer and I would send it to her. But then we have a lot of people that say Jackie does all my writing for me, but people don't know that that's my love is writing. So anyway, I won't make this too long because there's a lot that I want to say. But I'm sure between now and tomorrow I'll come up with it. But there's 2 pictures I want to give her. There's 3, but one of them I think I'm going to wait to give her until tomorrow. We're also doing something for her tomorrow. But there's 2 pictures that I want to give her. First off, let me say this. I am not emotional. I don't cry publicly a lot. I'm very, I don't know, I just, unless Miss Prolant's there, and then she and I usually cry. When I see her cry, I get going. I don't know what that's about, but.
You said you don't cry.
I know, right? But, I went to a concert with Jackie. This is like one of my favorite stories. And, she had been looking, it was who was the artist?
Cochran and Company.
Cochran and Company. And Jackie was months, couldn't quit talking about, she couldn't wait, and this was her favorite, Christian music is she loves it, and so we're gonna go, and she was sitting next to me, and at that time in her life, Jackie was going through a little something, and so she was a little emotional, and so they sang this song, and it was very touching to her heart. Well, I look over, and she's sobbing. And so I'm sitting there next to her, and I'm like, okay, Beth, this is where you're gonna show your sensitive side. You're gonna be nice. So I just put my hand around her, and I did this. So that was my touch. So I was telling my husband, I was saying, Thomas, Jackie it was so pitiful. I was so sad for Jackie, and I said, but I comforted her. Don't worry. And then I was telling Jackie, I said, I did comfort you, right? And then people behind us were laughing because I was doing this, because that's this.
It's like she was afraid to touch me.
I was afraid to touch her, but I did. But anyway, this is a picture that I hope that she will look at and that she'll have somewhere in her home in Las Vegas, because one evening we went to Sanibel, and we went to eat, and we went to the beach, and we walked and we talked, and we did a lot of reflection of ways that we could be better people and better employees, better bosses, and better friends. And so, I don't know if you remember this picture, but that's my hand and that's her hand. And that was about a month before the hurricane. And I took her to my favorite restaurant, and it got destroyed after that. But that was, so I hope you'll know that you're always loved and you're thought of here in Glades County. The final picture was one day after work, Jackie and I in our dresses loaded up on an airboat, and we went on the airboat. But this picture is a picture I always have, and I'm going to send this with her because I have one in my office also. But this will remind me of Jackie and what she's doing to us in our retirement, and she's going off into the sunset. And I hope that you know that you're loved, and you always have a home here in Glades County. I think our district office will miss your colorful language and your, we're all gonna just take a deep breath after you leave, because I don't know, you're definitely gonna, you've taken away ours. And we'll,
all right.
and everything is gonna be all right.
That's right.
All right?
That's right.
Okay. And that's all I've got to say.
Wow. All right, board member comments.
Oh, let me go first, so I can
All
go
right.
and cry, and I'm already
Okay.
sorry. There is nobody like the Jackie Smith, and that's what I wrote on my card, the Jackie Smith. Incomparable, extraordinary, above and beyond every single time. Carla, take note. We're gonna miss you, but I'm excited for you, actually. If they hadn't started crying, I was all excited.
Yeah,
Jackie's going to Vegas. Boy, she's gonna have a brand new, exciting life. It's gonna be exciting, Jackie.
it will be.
And I hope there's a million great things you could text us back and tell us all about.
Thank you.
I wanna come visit.
Anytime.
We could hike out there, Ms. Pro.
Oh, well, you're carried away, okay.
I'll take care of
We're going to the casino, we're not gonna.
Hey, I don't know about hiking, casino maybe.
Go ahead, Ms., are you finished with?
Well, I want to, I guess, reiterate what Dr. Barfield said about the accreditation process. We, as a board, all were, I think we missed you.
Yes,
didn't
you did. That's you.
4 of us had a Zoom call today with one of the ladies who's kind of, I guess, in charge of the accreditation process. And I knew we were great, but it was really nice hearing it from an outsider who had come in and observed and talked to students and parents and administrators, and she just had so many really great things to say about our school district and the progress that we've made and where we are and where we're gonna be, and she's, I would say 99.9% sure that we're gonna be an accredited district, and that's gonna be something to celebrate. So I was blown away by all the nice things she said about us. You know, like I said, we knew we were great, but when somebody from outside comes in and says those things, it means so much. And I'm not gonna cry, Jackie.
Thank you,
So, Mr. Grissom.
I love you, and we're gonna miss you. You have been the backbone of this office for 4 years. And I've worked with Carla. I know Carla can do it. We're gonna love her too, but we're gonna miss you so very much. So very much. But happy trails.
I'm not hiking anywhere. I have a box of cookies that are going with me, I'm not hiking anywhere.
I'm not good at the emotional stuff. I hope you have a great time out there and enjoy time with your family. Not as much stress. Miss Carla, I hope you are excited about the different levels of colorfulness. But when do you start? In June?
July 1st.
July 1st. Yes, ma'am, we're looking forward to everybody's new adventures. Your turn.
Okay. So I didn't prepare anything, but I echo everything they've said, and the one thing I want to say is you're more than a professional. You're very good at what you do, no doubt. There's a lot more to you, and there's a lot more things important about you besides your job.
I agree.
Okay, I want you to always remember that. We love you, we'll miss you. Should I pat you?
Yeah, tap my shoulder like she did, okay, it's all good now.
Okay. All right. Any further business?
I don't know, but somebody's really trying to get a hold of us, cause that
Yeah,
phone's
there's
been
probably
blowing
a call that
up.
just went out, a parent call, cause that's the only time the phone rings at
Yeah.
nighttime.
All right. With all that crying aside, I adjourn the meeting.
I